Lisa Carter walked through the long hallway of the Galactic Council building. Her black military boots made sharp sounds on the crystal floor. She wore her best uniform with all her medals. The uniform was dark blue with gold buttons. Her hair was pulled back tight. Her face showed no fear. The hallway was huge. The ceiling went up so high she could barely see the top. Strange lights floated in the air without any wires. The walls were made of some kind of smooth white stone that seemed to glow from inside. Lisa had never seen anything like it on Earth. Other beings walked past her. Some had 4 arms. Others had scales instead of skin. A few had eyes that glowed like tiny suns. They all stared at her. Lisa was the only human in the building. She was also the shortest person there, but she walked like she owned the place. At the end of the hallway stood 2 giant doors. They were at least 30 feet tall and covered in symbols that hurt to look at. As Lisa got closer, the doors opened by themselves. Cool air rushed out. She could hear thousands of voices talking at once. Lisa stepped into the main hall of the Galactic Council. Her breath caught in her throat. The room was so big, it could hold 10 football stadiums. Rows and rows of seats went up like a mountain. Each seat held a different kind of alien being. There had to be 50,000 of them. At the bottom of the room was a small platform. That was where Lisa was supposed to stand. Above her, all those alien eyes would look down at her. She would be alone against the entire galaxy. Lisa walked down the long stairs to the platform. Her boots echoed in the huge space. The talking got quieter as more beings noticed her. By the time she reached the bottom, the hall was silent. 50,000 aliens stared at one human woman. A voice spoke from everywhere at once. Lisa could not tell where it came from. The voice was deep and cold. Human Representative Lisa Carter. You stand before the Galactic Council. We have called you here to receive our final decision about your species. Lisa stood straight. She put her hands behind her back. I am here to listen. Your species has spread to 30 star systems. You have built colonies on worlds that do not belong to you. You have taken resources that are not yours. The Trilateral Alliance has decided that humanity must stop. On the giant screens around the room, Lisa saw images of human colonies, new farms on distant planets, mining stations around asteroids, cities full of families who had traveled from Earth to make new homes among the stars. The voice continued. The Zephyrian Empire, the Klaxon Federation, and the Tau Collective have united against your expansion. Together, they control 300 star systems. Their combined fleet has 5 million ships. They have agreed to give humanity one chance to avoid total war. A new being floated down to the platform. It had 4 eyes and skin like blue metal. Tubes connected different parts of its body. When it spoke, its voice sounded like music made of metal. I am Ambassador Zex of the Zephyrian Empire. Human, your species is young and foolish. You do not understand how the galaxy works. For 10,000 years, peace has ruled the stars. We have rules, we have order, we have discipline. The aliens' 4 eyes all focused on Lisa. Your species breaks our rules. You fight each other. You compete instead of sharing. You take what you want instead of asking permission. This cannot continue. Lisa said nothing. She just listened. The Trilateral Alliance offers humanity one choice. You will abandon all colonies beyond your home system. You will return to Earth and stay there. You will accept our guidance and learn to be civilized. If you agree to this, we will let your species live. The ambassador's skin began to glow brighter. If you refuse, we will destroy every human colony. We will blockade Earth. Your species will end. The choice is yours, human. But you must choose now. Lisa looked up at the thousands of alien faces staring down at her. She had studied the files on each species in the Trilateral Alliance. The Zephyrians had never lost a war in their entire history. They did not know what it felt like to be desperate. The Klaxons were master builders who could construct fleets faster than anyone else could destroy them. The Tau Collective had minds that could predict every move their enemies would make. Against humanity's 30 small colonies and handful of ships, they were unstoppable. The silence stretched on. Ambassador Zex waited. The entire Galactic Council waited. In normal times, this was where the weaker species would raise their hands above their heads. It was the universal sign of surrender. Every intelligent species in the galaxy knew this gesture. It meant, we give up, and we submit to your will. Lisa Carter had read about this tradition. She knew what everyone expected her to do. She knew that raising her hands would save millions of human lives. It would prevent a war that humanity could not win. But Lisa Carter was a human being. And human beings were different from every other species in the galaxy. Instead of raising her hands, above her head, Lisa moved her hands to her belt. Her right hand rested on her sidearm. Her left hand touched the combat knife she always carried. Both weapons were just ceremonial items in this place, but they meant something important to her. Ambassador Zex, Lisa said. Her voice was calm and clear. I have an answer for the Trilateral Alliance. The alien ambassador's eyes grew brighter. Yes, human. Give us your surrender. Humanity does not surrender, Lisa said. The words rang out across the silent hall. We do not raise our hands in defeat. We raise weapons instead. And when we raise weapons, we win wars. The gasps from the alien audience sounded like wind rushing through the hall. No species had ever refused the Galactic Council's judgment. No one had ever chosen to fight against impossible odds. Ambassador Zex's skin flickered with confusion. Human, do you understand what you are saying? We have 5 million ships. You have less than 5,000. We control 300 systems. You control 30. This is not a war you can win. Lisa smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of a predator that had just been threatened. Ambassador, you made one mistake in your calculations. You counted our ships, you counted our systems, you counted our resources. But you forgot to count something much more important. What did we forget to count, human? You forgot to count. What happens when you back a human into a corner and tell them they have no choice but to die? Lisa keyed her communicator. Captain Jake Morrison answered immediately from his ship in orbit. Captain Morrison, this is Commander Carter. Diplomacy has failed. Send the message to all human colonies and all human ships. Tell them the galaxy has chosen war. Tell them Protocol 7 is now active. She looked back up at Ambassador Zex. You want to know what Protocol 7 is, Ambassador? It means humanity stops playing by galactic rules. It means we stop trying to be civilized. It means we go back to being what we were before we reached the stars. And what were you before? You reached the stars? We were the species that turned the entire planet into our hunting ground. We were the species that survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters that would have ended any other race. We were the species that looked at every impossible challenge and said, watch us do it anyway. Lisa turned to face the entire Galactic Council. Her voice carried to every seat in the massive hall. You gave us a choice between surrender and extinction, but you forgot that humans always find a third option. We choose victory, and we have never lost a war when our survival was at stake. The hall erupted in chaos as Lisa Carter walked away. Behind her, 50,000 aliens argued and shouted, but she did not look back. She had a war to fight, and humanity was very good at fighting wars. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance. The ship was humanity's newest warship. It was big and fast and covered in weapons, but compared to the alien ships heading toward human space, it was like a toy. Captain, said Lieutenant Ryan Brooks, we just got the message from Commander Carter. Protocol 7 is active. Jake smiled. He had been waiting for this day. The alien species thought they knew everything about humans. They thought humans were weak because they were new to space. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Ryan, send a message to all human ships and stations. Tell them to activate their hidden weapons. Tell them to forget about fighting fair. Tell them we are not playing games anymore. The bridge crew got busy. These men and women had trained for years for this moment. They knew what Protocol 7 meant. It meant humanity would stop trying to be nice. It meant they would fight like humans had always fought on Earth. Jake walked to the big screen that showed space around them. Out there, the largest fleet in galactic history was coming to destroy humanity. 12,000 alien ships moved through space in perfect formations. They looked beautiful and deadly. "Sir," said Ryan, "the alien fleet will reach Kepler Station in 6 hours. Should we go help defend it?" "No," Jake said. "We are going to let them have their victory, but it will not be the victory they expect." 3-star systems away, Admiral Kate Sullivan sat in her command center deep under the moon's surface. The room was full of screens and computers. Hundreds of people worked at control stations. Maps showed every human colony and every alien ship. Kate was studying the enemy fleet. She had spent months learning how alien species fought wars. They were very different from humans. They liked order and rules. They moved their ships in neat patterns. They used the same tactics every time. "Admiral," said Commander Bob Taylor, "the Zephyrian fleet has 800 ships in their front group. They are flying in formation Delta 7. Perfect spacing, perfect timing." Kate nodded. "They fight wars like they sign peace treaties. Everything must be proper and correct. They probably think we will meet them with our ships in a neat line and have a fair battle." She turned to her staff officers. "Gentlemen and ladies, the aliens are about to get their first lesson in human warfare. We do not fight fair. We fight to win." At Kepler Station, Commander Pete Davis watched his screens. He commanded a mining station that had been converted into a weapons platform. Around him, 30 other stations and ships waited in the asteroid belt. The asteroids looked normal, just big rocks floating in space. But Pete knew better. Each asteroid hid weapons and surprises. Human engineers had spent months preparing this trap. "Commander," said his weapons officer, "enemy fleet dropping out of hyperspace in 10 minutes. "Good," Pete said. "Everyone remembers the plan. Wait for my signal. Do not fire until I give the word." The Zephyrian Vanguard came out of hyperspace exactly where human computers said they would. 800 beautiful ships appeared in perfect formation. Their hulls were silver and smooth. Their weapons glowed with blue energy. They looked like something from a dream. Commander Vex led the alien fleet from his flagship. He was proud of his ships and his crews. The Zephyrians had never lost a space battle. They were the best warriors in the galaxy. "Scan for human ships," Vex ordered. "Sir, we detect some small stations and mining equipment. No military vessels. The humans appear to have fled." Vex was disappointed. He had hoped the humans would at least try to fight. "Begin bombardment of the stations. Destroy everything." That was when Pete Davis smiled and pressed the big red button on his control panel. The asteroids came alive. What the aliens thought were rocks suddenly opened up and revealed hidden weapons. Railguns that had been built into the asteroid cores fired, chunks of metal at incredible speed. Missiles launched from hidden tubes. Energy weapons that looked like mining lasers turned toward the alien ships. The Zephyrian formation was perfect for fighting other civilized species. But it was terrible for fighting an enemy that hid weapons inside rocks and did not care about honor. "Evasive maneuvers," Vex shouted. But his ships were too close together. They could not turn fast enough. The human weapons hit them from every direction. The railguns were the worst. Zephyrian shields were designed to stop energy weapons. They could absorb laser beams and plasma bolts all day. But they could not stop a chunk of iron moving at half the speed of light. "This is impossible," Vex said as he watched his ships explode. "These weapons should not work. Our shields should protect us." Pete Davis heard the alien transmission. He opened a channel to reply. "Admiral Vex, this is Commander Pete Davis of the Human Defense Force. Welcome to human space. You wanted to know how we fight wars? We do not use energy weapons when rocks work better. We do not fight fair when fighting dirty gets the job done. And we do not lose when our families are in danger." 20 minutes later, the battle was over. Of the 800 Zephyrian ships, only 50 survived. They limped away as fast as they could, but the real battle was just beginning. The main alien fleet was still coming, and they would not make the same mistakes twice. Back on his ship, Captain Jake Morrison received reports from all over human space. The aliens had learned about the trap at Kepler Station. Now they were being more careful. They scanned every asteroid and destroyed anything that looked suspicious. "Captain," Ryan said, "the alien fleet is moving slower now. They are expecting more traps." "Good," Jake said. "Fear makes people stupid, and when your enemy is being stupid, that is when you hit them where they do not expect it." Jake activated the ship's communication system. He sent a message to every human colony and every human ship. "This is Captain Morrison to all human forces. Phase 1 is complete. The aliens now know we do not fight fair. They think they understand our tricks. They are wrong. Phase 2 begins. Now show them what happens when humans really get angry." All across human space, the preparations began. Cargo ships turned into weapons platforms, civilian transports loaded with explosive devices. Mining ships converted their equipment into military hardware. Even passenger liners were being fitted with weapons. The aliens had 5 million ships. But humans had something better. They had the willingness to turn anything into a weapon, and the creativity to think of ways that would never occur to a civilized species. On distant colonies, families said goodbye to their loved ones. Children who were too young to fight helped load ammunition. Old people who were too weak to serve worked in factories making weapons. Everyone understood what was at stake. The galaxy had given humanity a choice between surrender and death. But humans had always been good at finding a third option. They had chosen victory, and they were going to take it from the aliens one battle at a time. Admiral Kate Sullivan looked at her strategic display. The real alien fleet was almost at the edge of human space. Soon the killing would begin in earnest. "Admiral," Bob Taylor said, "all human forces report ready. They are waiting for orders." Kate nodded. "Send the message. Operation Wildfire is a go. Time to show the galaxy what human warfare really looks like." Across 30 star systems, human defenders prepared for the fight of their lives. They knew they were outnumbered. They knew the odds were against them. But they also knew something the aliens did not understand. Humans did not just fight to win battles. They fought to win wars. And they had never lost. A war when everything they loved was at stake. The siege of Earth had lasted 3 months. Every day the alien fleet got closer to humanity's homeworld. Every day more human ships were destroyed trying to stop them. Admiral Kate Sullivan watched the tactical display with tired eyes. The numbers were getting worse. "Admiral," Commander Bob Taylor said quietly, "we have lost another defense fleet. Captain Morrison's group at Jupiter, all ships destroyed." Kate closed her eyes. Jake Morrison had been a good friend. Now he was dead along with 5,000 other brave humans. The alien fleet barely slowed down. "How many ships do we have left?" Kate asked. 47 combat vessels. The aliens still have over 8,000 ships approaching Earth." Kate looked at the display showing Earth. Her homeworld looked so small and blue and peaceful. Soon alien bombs would fall on every city. Billions of people would die unless she could think of something. "Ma'am," Bob said. "Message from Dr. Amy Foster. She says the project is almost ready." Kate nodded. Dr. Foster was working on humanity's last desperate weapon. It was dangerous and untested, but they were out of options. Deep underground, Dr. Amy Foster worked in her laboratory while the Earth shook from alien bombing runs above. The quantum resonance device filled most of the room. Cables and computers covered every wall. The air smelled like electricity and fear. "Doctor," her assistant Carl Green said, "the power readings are off the charts. This thing could destroy everything within 100,000 miles. Amy wiped sweat from her face. "Carl, if we do nothing, the aliens will kill everyone on Earth. Anyway, at least this way we have a chance." General Tom Walsh entered the lab. He was covered in dust from the latest bombing attack. His uniform was torn and dirty. "Doctor, how much more time do you need?" 6 hours minimum, Amy said. "The resonance cascade has to build up slowly, or it will collapse on itself." "We do not have 6 hours, Tom said. "The alien fleet will be in Earth orbit in 4 hours. They are going to start bombing our cities." Amy looked at her device. It was not ready. But ready or not, it was all humanity had left. "I can try to speed up the process," she said. "But the risk of total system failure goes up to 90%. Tom was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. "Do it. Better to die trying than to die doing nothing." Above them, the last human defense fleet prepared for battle. Admiral Kate Sullivan had moved her command to the UES Liberty, the only remaining heavy cruiser. Around her, 46 smaller ships waited for orders. On the view screen, the alien fleet looked like a moving wall of metal and energy. Thousands of ships in perfect formation. Their weapons could turn Earth into a dead rock in minutes. "Admiral," said her communications officer, "the alien commander is sending a message." "Put it on screen." The face that appeared was not human. It had blue skin and 4 glowing eyes. This was Admiral Keth of the Zephyrian Empire. He had led the fleet that conquered dozens of star systems. "Human Admiral Sullivan," Keth said in his metallic voice. "Your defense is over. You have 47 ships. I have 8,000. Surrender now and I will make your deaths quick." Kate stood up straight. Even facing impossible odds, she would not show fear. "Admiral Keth, humanity does not surrender. We told you that 3 months ago. We meant it." Keth's eyes glowed brighter. "Then you will all die for nothing. Your planet will burn. Your species will be forgotten." "Maybe," Kate said, "but we will make you pay for every inch, and other species will remember that humans fought to the end." She cut the transmission and turned to her crew. "All ships, this is Admiral Sullivan. Today we fight for our home. Today we fight for our families. Today we fight so that future generations will know that humanity never gave up. All ships, attack." The 47 human ships charged toward the alien fleet. It was suicide, but it was glorious suicide. Every human pilot knew they were going to die, but they also knew their sacrifice would buy Dr. Foster time to finish her weapon. The battle was brutal and one-sided. Human ships exploded under alien fire, but they kept fighting. They rammed enemy vessels when their weapons ran out. They detonated their reactors to damage alien ships nearby. Captain Sam Roberts flew his fighter directly into an alien cruiser's bridge. His last words over the radio were, "Remember Earth." Captain Lisa Park used her transport ship's cargo hold full of explosives to destroy an entire alien squadron. She laughed as her ship blew up, taking 12 enemy vessels with her. One by one, the human ships died. But they took alien ships with them. The perfect alien formation became scattered and damaged. Admiral Keth watched his fleet lose hundreds of ships to the desperate human attack. He could not understand it. These humans knew they could not win. Why did they keep fighting? "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the humans have lost their last ship. Admiral Sullivan's cruiser just exploded." Keth nodded. The humans had fought well for such a primitive species, but now Earth was defenseless. "Begin orbital bombardment of the human homeworld," he ordered. But as the alien ships moved toward Earth, Dr. Amy Foster pressed the final button on her quantum device. The machine had been building power for 4 hours. It was not ready, but it was the best she could do. "Carl," she said to her assistant, "whatever happens next, humanity tried. We never gave up." She activated the quantum resonance cascade. The effect was not what anyone expected. A sphere of pure energy appeared in space above Earth. It was only a few feet wide at first, but it grew rapidly. Everything it touched simply stopped existing. The energy sphere expanded outward at the speed of light. It consumed the alien fleet closest to Earth. Ships that had survived every human attack vanished like they had never been built. Admiral Keth had just enough time to send one message before his flagship was consumed. Impossible. No species should have this power. But the cascade could not be controlled. It kept growing. It consumed the wreckage of human ships. It reached out toward the moon. It threatened to destroy everything in the inner solar system. Dr. Foster watched her readings with horror. The cascade was too strong. It would not stop growing until it burned itself out. By then, it might destroy Earth as well. "Shut it down," she yelled. "I cannot," Carl shouted back. "The controls are not responding." For 10 terrible minutes, the energy sphere grew larger and larger. It consumed thousands of alien ships. It turned asteroids into nothing. It even began to affect the fabric of space itself. Finally, the cascade collapsed. It had used up all its energy. The sphere shrank rapidly and then disappeared. When it was over, both fleets were gone. The alien armada that had seemed unstoppable was completely destroyed. But so were the last human defenders. Earth survived, but barely. The planet's surface was scarred by radiation and energy storms. In her underground bunker, Dr. Foster looked at her instruments. The quantum device was destroyed. The alien fleet was destroyed. Most of humanity's fleet was destroyed. The cost of victory had been enormous, but Earth still existed. Humanity still existed. And across the galaxy, every alien species now knew one important fact about humans. They would rather destroy everything than surrender. 6 months after the Battle of Earth, Commander Lisa Carter stood once again before the Galactic Council. But everything was different now. The great hall that had once held 50,000 alien representatives was almost empty. Only a few hundred beings sat in the vast rows of seats. Lisa's uniform was different too. Instead of the dress uniform she had worn before, she now wore battle armor. Scars marked her face from the fighting on the moon colonies. Her left arm was mechanical, replacing the one she had lost in combat. The aliens who remained looked at her with fear instead of contempt. They whispered among themselves in their strange languages, but Lisa could read their emotions easily enough. They were terrified of the human species. Ambassador Zex was still alive, but he looked much older. His blue metallic skin was dull and scratched. 2 of his 4 eyes had been damaged in the war. When he spoke, his musical voice shook with fear. "Commander Carter," he said quietly, "the Trilateral Alliance formally requests peace negotiations with humanity." Lisa almost smiled. 6 months ago, this same alien had demanded that humanity surrender or face extinction. Now he was begging for peace. "Ambassador Zex," Lisa said, "I am here to listen to your offer. The Zephyrian Empire, what remains of it, offers to withdraw from all human territory. We will pay damages for the colonies we destroyed. We will give you advanced technology. Please, we just want the killing to stop." Lisa looked around the nearly empty hall. The great Trilateral Alliance was broken. The Zephyrian Empire had lost 90% of its fleet. The Klaxon Federation had surrendered after human raiders destroyed their shipyards. The Tau Collective had simply disappeared, abandoning their territory and fleeing to unknown space. "Ambassador," Lisa said, "your offer is not acceptable." Gasps echoed through the hall. The few remaining aliens looked shocked. What more could the humans want? Lisa activated a holographic display. It showed a map of the galaxy. Red areas marked human territory. Blue areas showed what remained of alien civilizations. "Humanity has new terms for galactic civilization," she announced. "We do not seek to rule you, but we will never again accept your rules." She pointed to the display. "First, humanity claims the right to settle any uninhabited world we choose. We will not ask permission. We will not pay tribute. We will take what we need to survive and grow." The aliens murmured in distress. For thousands of years they had controlled which species could colonize new worlds. "Second," Lisa continued, "humanity reserves the right to defend itself by any means necessary. If any species threatens human colonies or human lives, we will respond with total warfare. We will not fight by your rules. We will fight to win." Ambassador Zex's remaining eyes dimmed with fear. "Commander, surely we can find a peaceful solution. The old ways maintained order for 10,000 years. "The old ways are dead," Lisa said firmly. "You killed them when you gave humanity the choice between surrender and extinction. We chose a third option. We chose victory." On the screen behind her, images appeared of human colonies throughout the galaxy. New cities on distant worlds. Space stations around alien suns. Human ships patrolling trade routes that had once belonged to alien empires. "Humanity is now the dominant military power in this region of space," Lisa continued. "We did not ask for this position. You forced it on us. Now we will use it to ensure that no species ever again faces the choice you gave. Us. In the back of the hall, a small alien being stood up. It had gray skin and large black eyes. This was a representative of the Vegan Trade Union, one of the few neutral species. Commander Carter, the alien said in a high voice. What about species that did not participate in the war? What about those of us who remain neutral? Lisa's expression softened slightly. Neutral species have nothing to fear from humanity. We seek trade partners, not subjects. We want friends, not slaves. But understand this. We will not tolerate any attempt to restrict human expansion or threaten human lives. She gestured to the nearly empty hall around them. Look at this place. 6 months ago, it was full of representatives who thought they ruled the galaxy. Now most of those species are extinct or hiding in distant systems. Learn from their mistake. Back on Earth, Captain Sarah Wells walked through the rebuilt capital city. The quantum cascade had damaged much of the planet, but humans were good at rebuilding. New buildings rose from the ruins. Parks and schools replaced bomb craters. Sarah commanded the new human fleet. It was smaller than before the war, but much more advanced. Human scientists had learned from captured alien technology. They had also learned from their own quantum weapon research. Captain, her aide Lieutenant Dan Cooper said. Message from the outer colonies. 3 more alien species have requested protection agreements. Sarah nodded. After seeing what happened, to the Trilateral Alliance, many smaller species wanted human protection. They were willing to trade technology and resources for safety. Tell them we will consider their request, Sarah said, but make it clear that we protect our friends. We do not rule them. Dr. Amy Foster now led all human weapons research from her new laboratory on Mars. The quantum cascade weapon had been too dangerous to use again, but it had taught her important lessons about the nature of reality itself. Doctor, her assistant Carl Green said, the new defense satellites are online. If anyone attacks Earth again, we will be ready. Amy looked at her latest projects. Weapons that could stop time in small areas, shields that existed in multiple dimensions, tools that other species would consider impossible. Carl, I hope we never have to use these, she said. But if someone threatens humanity again, they will discover that we have learned from our mistakes. General Tom Walsh reviewed reports from across human space. The war had cost humanity dearly. Billions of people had died. Entire colonies had been destroyed. But humanity had survived and grown stronger. Sir, his aide said, intelligence reports that some alien species are trying to rebuild the Trilateral Alliance in distant space. Tom was not surprised. Fear would keep most species away from humanity for now. But eventually someone would try again. They would think humans had gotten lucky. They would be wrong. Let them try, Tom said. Next time we will be ready from the beginning. And next time we will not wait for them to attack first. Back at the Galactic Council, Lisa Carter finished reading humanity's new laws for interstellar relations. The few remaining aliens listened in stunned silence. These are humanity's terms, she concluded. Accept them, and you can live in peace with us. Reject them, and face the consequences. The choice is yours. She turned to leave, then stopped, and looked back at Ambassador Zex. Ambassador, you once told me that humanity did not understand how the galaxy works. You were right, we did not understand your way, but now the galaxy works our way. And our way is simple. We raise weapons, not hands. We fight wars to win them, and we never surrender. Lisa walked out of the Great Hall. Behind her, the aliens began arguing among themselves. Some wanted to accept human terms, others wanted to fight. A few suggested fleeing to distant galaxies. But Lisa knew the truth. The age of alien dominance was over. Humanity had won not just a war, but the right to shape their own destiny among the stars. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson about the species from the small blue world. Humans were not the strongest or smartest or most advanced race in space, but they were the only species that treated survival as an art form, and now they were free to practice that art wherever they chose to go.